What's up, guys? Spider here for Destiny, and check out this weapon. This is the Sleeper Simulant that people have been talking about for a few weeks now, and it's an exotic fusion rifle, but it sits in the heavy slot. So it's a heavy fusion rifle, exotic, and people have been looking for this, trying to figure out, okay, well, where does this thing drop? Well, after logging into the game this morning, there's a mission that was unlocked on the Cosmodrome, and it's just some random mission, and I guess Bungie decided, okay, here, we're going to unlock this mission for everybody now. Now, I think the prerequisite to having this mission unlocked is that you've already found and submitted all 4 fusion rifle components. I believe they're all called Dvalin something or other. And you turned them into the gunsmith, and you actually got gunsmith reputation. And there were 4 of them, and people were looking for the possibility of a 5th, that maybe that would unlock the quest for the sniper simulant. But here we have this morning, and Bungie, like I said, just must have turned it on because there's this lone mission here on the Cosmodrome called the First Firewall. Investigate Vault Rads 2 and investigate the source of the strange signal. So here we are at the tail end of the mission. We're in Rasputin's Vault. This is where we found Omnigul for the first time, I believe. Or I guess the first time was out on the planet's surface. But I think we started fighting her, and then she left, and then a bunch of Hive came in after, right? So we got Kendorak. We got to kill him. He's he's not too bad, especially if your light level's pretty high. We killed him fairly quickly. It's a fairly short mission because most of the time you're really not fighting anything. And then he drops something on the ground. So we're just going to finish off the minions. They despawn. And check out this thing that we picked up. The Curious Transceiver. All right, what the heck's the Curious Transceiver? The transceiver is broadcasting a signal encrypted with a simple passcode. Okay, but the passcode isn't that simple. We got to input these commands. So we have a top row and a bottom row. And you notice that the symbols, like I think the top row symbols is Rasputin symbol. I'm not sure what the bottom one is. So this image is the first code that gets input. Now, I couldn't find, when we were doing this, any rhyme or reason as to how this code would basically go. And what it is, you have to select, they're all columns. So we have 9 columns of 2 symbols, right? And you have to either select the top one or the bottom one. And just for simplicity, let's say I made it into a binary thing. So if you selected the top one, it was a 0. If you selected the bottom one, it was a 1. So we have 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. And that's actually the first code. And don't ask me, like I even tried converting it to decimal to see if there's a pattern, converting it to hexadecimal, converting it to ASCII text, and there was no rhyme or reason as to how the code was supposed to go. People actually said in the chat that it was according to the spawns when we were just playing that mission we just completed. When the enemies first spawned in, I'm not sure if it was Hive on the top, Fallen on the bottom. So a Hive spawned in, then a Taken, then a Hive, Taken, Hive, Taken, or Taken, Hive, Hive, Taken, Hive. I don't know how you'd come up with that, or how you'd know until after you were completed the mission. So the only way you'd be able to sort of correlate that is if you recorded it while you're playing through. But this is the first code. 0100111101, okay? All right, so here is the second code. Now, we only have 4 selections to make, so it was a bit easier. And the way we ended up doing this was just trial and error. It was just, keep trying different combinations, and eventually we came up with it. So we have 01001100, okay? So that's code number 2. Now, the third code was the most difficult one, simply because we had to choose 10 combinations. We have 10 columns that we had to pick, and it ended up being 0111 0111 00. So, it was kind of a nice pattern, and that was the third code. The final code consisted of 8 selections. We have 01 01 01 00, and that's it, okay? So once we enter this 4th code, we're done. Now, if we take a look at the Curious Transceiver, again, it's broadcasting, so we've enabled it to broadcast. The transceiver signal originates from Devil's Spire in the Cosmodrome. Oh, and looks like you decrypting it here decrypted it across the whole network. It's a sure bet we're not the only ones listening. Okay, so we got to find the transceiver signal source, and that's our ghost telling us that. Okay, so where's the source? Well, apparently we got a new mission that unlocked called Shadow Call. Ascend the Devil's Spire and outrace the darkness that follows close behind us, okay? So it's basically a repeat of Cade's stash mission. So here's kind of the tail end of the mission when I'm going up the sort of elevator, I guess. But the bridge was already there. You spawn right on the bridge, and it's a solo mission. You can't play this with a fire team. So we're going to open this chest, and then we're going to have some things that spawn in here. I think there are a total of like 3 wizards. So we're going to finish those guys off, right? And then we get, yeah, Hallowed Wizards, 3 of them. So just skipping ahead, here we are at the final one. We're going to come up here and just use the sword. It's a pretty easy mission. I mean, just remember, haul ass, don't worry about killing everything on your way up. And then we have the Aikilos Fusion Core, if I am pronouncing that correctly, not sure. So we got this Fusion Core. All right, well, let's take a look and see what this Fusion Core is all about. Looks like the core is missing 5 key components. We'll have to track them down in order to activate the nodes and restart the core. So, Aikilos Fusion Core modules repaired. So let's take a look at the 5 components. So we got ionized shell harmonics. It looks like we have to get this in the Ishtar archives. So we know what mission that's going to be on Venus. It's, you know, the vault, or the Ishtar vault. Heavy power coupling. The quantum dots found in any heavy weapon would fit here. Now you just dismantle a heavy weapon. Then we have this plasma confinement control module 1, 2, and 3, which are basically going to drop from Warsat events on the Cosmodrome, Mars, and the Moon. All right, so we're going to go and do the Ishtar mission first, and then do the Warsats. And I don't actually have, I'm trying to dismantle a heavy weapon, because it said any heavy weapon, but it has to be legendary, at least legendary. I can't confirm if an exotic would work, but definitely a legendary is required here, all right? So just to make sure you know what mission it is, it's called the Archives, level 12 story on Venus. Now, we played it with the highest, the higher light level version of it, okay? I'm not sure if that's required. We just want to make sure. I mean, you know, our light level is high enough. We should be able to, we easily got through it. So just play it on the hardest difficulty and you shouldn't have a problem. But I can't confirm for sure if it actually drops on the level 12 story version, okay? So here we are at the very end of the mission, and you don't have to look for it or anything. As soon as you get the mission completion, right, our ghost is going to access the archive. And there you go, the ionized shell harmonics we have now obtained. So if we go to the fusion core, it's going to be the top left one, and we hit select, and there you go. So we got step 1 complete to bring in this fusion core online, all right? So I skipped all the Warsat events. I mean, just find one in the Cosmodrome, on the Moon, and on Mars, and it's just going to drop as soon as the public event's complete, all right? So you guys can go back and do that. I'm not going to show it. You automatically get the drop as soon as the event's complete. So there's the last one I'm going to put in there. Now we need the heavy power coupling. Well, I've got a few heavy engrams, but like I said, they're all blue. So I'm definitely going to have to dismantle one of my legendary weapons here. All right, unfortunately, I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to dismantle this machine gun, the Diluvian 10-4X. Okay, so there it goes. And check it out, the heavy power coupling. Okay, so let's go back to our core and apply it. And, okay, so we got another note here. Reactivate core. All the components appear to be functioning properly. The fusion core is ready to be restarted. So we select that. Boom, the reassembled Aikilos Fusion Core. All right, let's check it out. Okay, so now what? Maybe Banshee 44 knows. Okay, so we're gonna go turn it into Banshee 44, and we're gonna get the gun. Yeah, let's get the gun, man. Come on, Banshee, please turn it in. This core is like the ones in the Dvalin relics you found, but better, stronger, newer, made recently too. Not compatible with the Dvalins or any other rifle I've seen. Gonna hang on to this. Give it a closer look. Maybe show it to the city's foundry. Show them what a real weapon looks like. Okay, so we're going to turn it in. And nothing. Banshee? Banshee! Where's my sleeper simulant? Okay, so I don't know if it's like the Prison of Elders. You gotta basically wait, or it doesn't say specifically wait until like a wipe day or to a new arms day. And maybe that's what triggered the mission to begin with, was this arms day or whatever. But yeah, we gotta wait now for an unspecified amount of time before Banshee 44 is gonna come back to us and tell us what the hell's going on with our exotic fusion rifle. After all that, I was so excited, and now we have to wait. All right, guys. So that is it. That is step one, I guess, or the whole process of as far as we can take it for now to find the sleeper simulant. So we'll be back with more as soon as Banshee 44 gets off his butt, shows it off around the tower, and tells us, hey, you need to do this, that, and the other thing so you can get your gun. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Spider, and I'm out.